Well, if you were a member of my immediate family, our next speaker would need no introduction because it's me. Kind of move that out of the way, and I'll kind of watch for the cords here. I'm going to drive the camera people crazy because when I talk, I like to walk around. I'm going to stay right in between these. If I trip and break a hip, we don't have universal health care, so, then what? Rub some dirt on it. Yeah, okay. I told you a little earlier that later in the evening you would find out how I knew that the geographic center of the United States was in Great Bend, Kansas. I know that because 35 years ago, I fell in love with Kansas. I was born in St. Louis. My family moved to the Chicago area when I was about a year old, and I lived there for 18 years. And after I graduated from college, from high school rather, I laid out a year, and then I went off to college. I went to Sterling College in Sterling, Kansas, just a little bit down the road. Now, during the year that I laid out, I had friends from high school that had gone on to school, and I visited them. They went to University of Illinois, Illinois State, and so I have these huge modern buildings, modern campuses such as they were in '74, and so I just assumed that the dorm that I would be living in would be very similar. Has anybody here actually, maybe, I don't know if we have some Sterling alum or anybody here? Anybody been to the campus? Got a guy waving a flag over here. I lived in Campbell Hall. It was built in like 18-something, I don't know, forever ago. And I get down there, it's about this time of year, it was August, come down for freshman orientation, and they put me in a room with a gentleman who had come from a very, very small town in southwest Kansas. I think there were 5 people in his graduating class. And truthfully, it was culture shock. I was like, oh my gosh. There's no air conditioning. The rooms are heated with radiators. There were no telephones in the room. There's no McDonald's. There wasn't even a pizza place. No movies. You had to go to Lions for the first movie or Hutch, one of the two. And this was the first time that I'd been away from home that I could look and know that I was going to be gone for an extended period of time. I'd actually traveled overseas about a year before on a missions trip and was gone for about 2 months. But I was realizing I'm going to be here for 4 years. Oh my gosh. And something happened. I called home and I was going, Mom, you won't believe this place. And somewhere near the end of my first week, coming from Chicago, big old fancy schmancy guy, That was kind of a New York accent, though. There really isn't a Chicago accent. Somewhere around the end of the first week, the people of Kansas won my heart. I realized that it wasn't them that had the problem, it was me that had the problem. I had come down from Chicago and I had judged you guys. I really did. I thought that I couldn't fit in, that you guys were backwards, you weren't cool, or any of those things. And yet, in just days, your sincerity, your honesty, your just downright Americanness touched my heart. On Monday of that week, I couldn't wait to get out of Campbell Hall and over to Kilburn Hall with the air conditioning and the modern appliances. I never left Campbell Hall. I spent 4 years there. I was a resident assistant, was a freshman advisor, did all kinds of things. And I never went to another school. I spent all 4 years of my college, and I'm proud to say that I graduated from Sterling College. And the reason I share that story with you, other than to do the speaker thing and, build rapport with the audience, is because of what Caleb said. People assume all kinds of things. People take you for granted. They take us for granted. Several hundred miles east of here, There's a city called Washington, D.C. It's filled with people who make decisions that impact your life and mine. But you know what? They need to come and spend a week in Kansas and lose some of their arrogance, some of their ignorance. And it's people like you that are just the folks to teach them that lesson. Now, we're trying now. We're talking. We're calling, we're writing and emailing, we're letting them know all day long, every day, don't sell out our country. Don't deny our Constitution. Don't give away our national sovereignty. Some of them are getting the message, but we have more work to do. That's why you guys are all here tonight. That's why there was a 9/12 all across this country with hundreds of thousands of people just like you who came out and said, basically, we've had enough, we're the boss, you listen to us, you do what we say, and if you don't, what we say is, you're now unemployed. A year ago, let me ask you a question. How many of you just attended your first political whatever it is we do when we get together like this year with like a 9/12 event, a tea party, something? How many of it, this was your first time? Okay, I'm looking around, probably about half the crowd. One of the slogans for the American Liberty Tour is, we're all activists now. When most of us think of activists, probably last year, and it's wild to say that, what we think of are the guys who would get in the boats and drive out in the ocean and sort of, dolphins, go away, the bad fishermen are here, leave. The Greenpeace people. Or the just ultra, I don't know who these guys were, that tore up Seattle with the WTO meeting several years ago. I mean, they burned cars and trashed the whole town. People like that give activism a bad name. Because activism doesn't mean anything more than being active. It means exercising those rights which come from God and which Americans, men and women, died to preserve. It means standing up and exercising your First Amendment right to free speech and saying, no, that's not right. Amen. For one man, it meant saying, you lie! Do you know what happened today in Washington, D.C.? The House Rules Committee, your government, passed a rule. You no longer can say you lie on the House of the U.S. House of Representatives. Unconstitutional! Yes, sir, it's unconstitutional, but since when has that stopped them? You can't say intellectually dishonest. And there's a couple of other things. It'll be in the papers, maybe. It means, yes, it will be on Red State because Caleb is here. It means standing up and exercising your right to assemble peacefully. It means standing up and asking for a redress of grievances from your country. When they do you wrong, and they are, you have the right to say, whoa, whoa, no, 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 no more. You stop that.